I was checking out the trailer for the newest movie, The Line. Kind of intense movie, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Kind of intense, I think it's it's we, I've been doing this for a while now. We've been talking about the movie nonstop for weeks, and it's still tough to put it into a box because there's so much going on.
Welcome everybody to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. Welcome everybody to episode number 558 of the podcast. December still rolling along, and so am I. I got episodes, I got chats that need to be heard. And if you don't know where to listen to all these chats, castingfor2.com is the perfect place to go. I'm joking. Is the perfect place to go to. You can find wherever the podcast is available. Buy some swag. Join the Discord. I don't know. Just hang out and, do stuff. Castingfor2.com, the perfect place to go. I make it easy for you all because I love you all. And follow me on the socials as well. Instagram is my preferred. I am a threader. And leave me a review. There we go. Castingfor2.com. My guest today is a wonderful actor, humanitarian, skater, person. We got Beau Mitchell on the podcast, and we talked about the movie he did called The Line, with Alex Wolff and Haley Bailey and others. A lot of other, Young Hollywood is in this movie, and I love that. And it's available for streaming. The Line, everybody go stream it this holiday season. Stream it before Christmas. Why not? For the holidays. But I'm done talking about that. All right. Because we need to get into this episode. All right. So everybody sit back, relax, and Beau, take it away.
So how do you kind of go about this, man? Is this just like a kind of like live recording to your podcast or what?
Pretty much, yeah. We're already in it. That's how it starts.
Amazing.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's just, it's super loose, super casual, nothing high stakes. Of course, I do have my questions. I never want it to feel like I do all this research, but sometimes I do. And I'm, the first thing that pops in my head with you, well, there's a lot of things, but you got tattooed while doing an interview?
Yeah, that's hilarious. It's funny you said that. Yeah, that was that was that was kind of a thing I was very excited about because I personally like tattoos.
Yeah.
And, I'm also a fan of the outlet Ink magazine, and they had just started doing this thing where they were basically doing I don't know if you've heard of Hot Ones, but Hot Ones with tattoo type of thing. And I just heard about it, and I was immediately like, yes, that is something I would like to partake in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So as a person who gets tattooed, you're cool, you're fine. Is it painful? How are you with the initial, getting tattooed?
Yeah, it's always a toss-up because there's a lot of variables, and that maybe doesn't seem like something you would think about. But with the tattoo process, there's different tattoo artists, different things, different people feel different ways, But on top of all that, there's also different spots of your body hurt differently,
right,
or feel differently, and so it's kind of all over the place. It's always a little different, and it's for me, it's fun. I enjoy the art of it all, and have always kind of enjoyed too the experience that you get with the artist, which is kind of an interview experience in itself. You kind of get to know each other. I mean, you're when the artist is carving something into your skin. So
Right.
you would hope that you could have a good conversation with them while they do that. But yeah, man. So it was just fun. And I mean, yeah, I'm just a huge fan of the art, and I enjoy it. You kind of get a little buzz afterwards. You get a little
Yes.
adrenaline rush. You
Yeah.
kind of get a little excited, and so you leave there feeling kind of like oddly, happy, and then yeah, you got something permanently attached to you. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
a pretty interesting process.
It's attached to you, and then as if you didn't just go through, I don't know however many hours, you're yeah, you're just like on to the next one. Like, okay, so for my next one, it's like, what, you just got one. Like, what
Yeah.
what are you doing? And yeah, so I have leg tattoos, and I enjoy them. There's something very, I don't know, soothing about it for me, and I could fall asleep getting tattooed. That's just my thing. But then I decided, after like taking a 10 plus year break, I was like itching for tattoos, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna start getting them on my arms. Um, but I kind of forgot that feeling of, oh, what's it gonna feel like again? I kind of don't remember. So I did one just super quick and just kind of like walked in the same day. It was like, I want this, whatever. And and I'm glad I got it. It's one of my
Uh-huh.
favorites.
Uh-huh.
But boy, did they hack my arm up. And
Oh
I
no.
was just like, oh, that's right. This is not what it's supposed to feel like. So then the next, when I got another one, like a couple months later, like it was just, oh yeah, this is the right way. Yes, this is the, I'm not bleeding everywhere. I'm just like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
all right, cool. So
Yeah.
which again, I don't hold the artist no ill will. It's just, okay, uh there's different levels, and
Yeah.
I got that out of the way, so now I can just go back to what I know, like
Right.
feeling wise. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's always funny. Like I said, people are different.
yeah.
Artists are different. Some of them are really carving you out. Some of them
Yeah.
have a nice kind of smooth hand. So yeah, it's always something. I mean, it's kind of like it's a funny thing. You gotta find a couple people that you kind of are, I guess, trust a little bit too, to know that they're gonna
Yeah.
do a good job. But yeah, I mean, it is an interesting thing. I think some people it's like it's like some people it's a tattoo and it hurts all the time. And some people, like, I agree with you. You kind of like, I think I'm the same way. You just kind of get in there and take a nap, or put on a audio book, or kind of just
Yeah.
just like getting a suntan at a tanning salon.
And then next thing you know, you're scarred for life, but it's the good kind of
Yeah,
scarred.
yeah, totally. Yeah, you just got some type of memento or art or carved in you, or maybe a huge mistake. Who knows? That happens too.
Who knows, I just like, I love getting tattooed, and I'm trying to get some more. um but yeah, I just thought that was such a cool idea, and so I'm going to get tattooed right now. Let's bring them in. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah, I was going to
wish.
say
I wish, but
that'd
that's
be
okay.
interesting.
But so, and then another thing I was looking at, you're a skater, and you uh help fund skate parks for people, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've just been, I mean, skateboarding for a long time now.
Hmm.
Just, I mean, I really started playing around with skateboards when I was like 8 or 9, and then
Hmm.
and then I got serious, kind of, I say serious, but around 14 or so, I kind of actually started like trying to learn tricks, and not just
Yeah.
like riding it or playing pretend or whatever, doing silly stuff with it. And like yeah, and then it's just, I was hooked,
Yeah.
and it honestly just changed my life forever. I don't know where I would be without it. And
Hmm.
it's been a huge tool just to learn, you know, to learn about life from. And yeah, man, I mean, it's so cool. Tons of my friends most of my friend group are because I have them because of skateboarding.
Hmm.
And I just saw so much positive effect in my life from it that I just knew that this has to be accessible, because it's
Yeah.
one of those things where sports are great, and team sports or what any sport, I think there's always a place for that. Different people have different things they like, but
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of, like, it's where I grew up, that were counterculture. And so you had, if you didn't want to play golf or football or baseball or basketball, I mean, there's a lot of good options, but you're kind of screwed, and so if
Right.
you wanted to skateboard, or you wanted to ride your bikes, or you wanted to do more kind of extreme sports like that, then not only is there no outlet for it, but you're also kind of shunned for
Mhm.
wanting to do that. And I came up around a time too, especially where I am from in the Bible Belt. It's like they think you're they think you're like a Satan worshiper if you have a skateboard in your hand. So
Right, right.
uh
Or yeah,
so
you're
you
some kind of bad kid, you're a hooligan, a
yeah, they
drug
like think you
dealer,
got
whatever.
drugs and a can of spray paint in your
Yeah,
backpack. So
exactly, which
it's
I'm
just
yeah.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's not, hey, sometimes they're right, but
Mhm.
the end of the day, though, it's usually not, like, people don't have that much ill will, as they think. But then these, you have 14, 15-year olds, you have kids that are just getting essentially bullied by any
Right.
and everyone, not only their peers, but also adults and cops and business owners and people that just whatever. And so there's no safe places to participate in this activity where I'm from.
Mhm.
So, I kind of took it in my own hands to open up a place to do that. And through that experience, I figured out that there was a passion there for creating spaces like that place. So
Mhm.
I started and ran for 10 years an indoor skateboard park in a pro shop
Mhm.
that in my hometown, Aiken, South Carolina, that ran, like I said, for 10 years. It was called Hick Warehouse, HIC Warehouse. And,
Mhm.
we just did that for a while, and it was so fun. Just so many good things came of it, man. But it was one of those things where I realized, like, okay, this needs to be, everyone needs access to this. We don't have anything. You have to drive an hour to get a skateboard or to go to a
Yeah.
skate park. And nobody's taking their kids an hour to play, you know, a sport, right? Unless you're on like a baseball team,
Right.
and that's your parents' life. And that's baseball. And everybody knows that you can be a millionaire baseball player. So sure, your parents would invest in that if you're good at it. But you're good at skateboarding, your parents are like, why am I driving you an hour to go, like, be a hooligan, right? So it's a
Right.
ton of miscommunication, misjudgment. So just trying to kind of fix that stigma. And through the years, we've had a ton of support just in the culture by, like, getting accepted into the Olympics and so
Mhm.
forth. But
Mhm.
but yeah, man. So yeah, I run a nonprofit now called Home for Skateboarding, and we just, our mission is to, provide access to safe places to skate for kids in rural areas. And we've been helping advocates properly communicate with government bodies for 7 or 8 years now, and we've had a couple parks break ground and built, and it's something that, yeah, we're extremely proud of, and it's really cool to see it all happen.
Yeah, because I love all of that. I grew up in the generation of extreme, where X Games was a thing, and pro extreme athletes were a thing on TV. Normally, like hosting shows, stuff like that. I'm more of the BMX side, um, but I always have a love for just that thing of just getting together with your friends and just skating, riding around for the summer, and just trying to, can we make something out of, like, a grind rail out of this? Can we do something?
Yeah.
Just being creative and
Oh
not
yeah.
not getting in trouble, but just kind of channeling our energy into something else. Um,
100%.
yeah, so I'm all about it. I'm all about it. And so I'm just kind of wondering, with you doing this and skating, do you do you think that you've been able to channel that energy into your acting?
Yeah, man. That's a really fun question. I think in the short form, yeah, yes,
Mhm.
I have, and it's really I think that the most of these kind of more extreme or extracurricular sports, like BMX or skateboarding, what have you, there is, like I said earlier, life lessons you learn.
Yeah.
Like if you put two kids in a situation, you have one of them learning to hit a 3-pointer on
Hmm.
a basketball court and one of them learning to kickflip. The kid is gonna it's gonna take the kid learning to kickflip a week. It's gonna take the other kid a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the kid that learned to kickflip has now just got a crash course on so many life lessons that they don't even understand that they just digested. Like they literally
Right.
just, they just got like a mainline injection of like grit. Like
Hmm.
they are now the grittiest kid in their school because it's like no, I'm sure I don't know if you really skated a lot. It sounds like you biked a lot, you
Yeah.
BMX, and
I
I'm
did some carpet boarding in the
yeah.
day. Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, that's it, man. Well, it's like when you learn to ollie or kickflip
Yes.
or pop shove it, those first couple tricks, and you're missing the board and it's smacking you in the shins and the
Yeah.
face and wherever the heck else it's smacking you, and then but at the same time you're like enthralled by it. You're like, I have to get back on top of it and immediately try this again until it happens, and
Hmm.
just that type of dedication is something that I do in my mentorship a lot. I try to tell the kids, I'm like they'll come to me kind of outside of skateboarding with a life problem. And I'm like, hey man, just translate everything you learned from skating. Like you remember how it felt to learn to kickflip. Like you remember how
Mm.
it felt when you were doing this thing. You remember, think about what it's like, when you're facing this adversity in skateboarding and transfer that into this life situation. And it's really profound. So I mean, yeah, it's something that I preach and practice, and it's in film. It's been a very important thing, even just for me to try to show the culture in a good light when I have the opportunity to do
Mm-hmm.
roles that are the character can have a skateboarding background. I try to inject that
Hmm.
into the role when I can, and then I try to make that. My goal is for it to always have a good light or a good kind of showing in my characters when it is a part of their it's a part of what they're doing. So I'm always a fan of it, man. And then at the end of the day, just taking in some of the experiences it brings you. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I've spent a lot of time in alleyways, trying to skateboard weird spots, and then you see the underbelly of the world, and that's like it's kind of this weird dichotomy of like horror and beauty, and you get to see real life and not just what's on TV, or not just the virtue signaling and performances people are doing in public spaces when they're surrounded by others they're trying to impress. So then
Hmm.
you get to see what real life is like, and then that is truly what can inform your art, especially in the realm of acting.
Hmm.
And you have to portray a character who's going through some real stuff. It can come in handy.
Oh, I bet. I bet. And I was checking out the trailer for the newest movie, The Line, and I mean that seems like a kind of intense movie. I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Kind of intense. I think it's like it's we. I've been doing this for a while now. We've been talking about the movie nonstop for
Yeah.
weeks, and
Yeah.
and it's like it's still tough to put it into a it's still tough to put it into a box because there's so much going on,
Yeah.
and at its core, it definitely brings tension.
Hmm.
It brings some suspense and some tension for sure. And I think that intensity is something we're very proud of because it's again it's what you experience in real life.
Hmm.
There's there's a ton of opportunities that we took to try to slow things down and make it kind of give that slow burn,
Yeah.
versus creating a predictable situation. And yeah, I think people have been receiving it well. We've been stoked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, well, first off, I mean the cast is nuts. It's I love, like, of course you have some heavy hitters like John Malkovich, but I love seeing, the younger actors. I feel like the actors of my generation, the future, Malkoviches and De Niro's and all that. And I feel like this movie has a majority of them. And I'm all about it. Cause I just love seeing, new actors coming up and rising and yeah, it's just nuts cast. But I'm curious, after you have one of these intense scenes, intense days, they call cut, or, that's it for the day. Did you ever have a hard time just kind of turning off the character and becoming Bo, or were you just like, hey, I need to hang out in the trailer for a bit. I just need to be by myself.
Yeah, man. It's one of those things. It's very tricky. I think, and to speak to the cast for a minute, I told Ethan this a couple times. I'm like, man, you really got a crazy ensemble here.
Yeah.
It's something to just be proud of, that you just got all these names in one room at the same time. I mean, because I compared it to him a few times as being like the next Outsiders, where you have all these legends in one movie. And you got Pullman, you got Graham Martin, you got Wolf, you got, and I mean, Alex is like a generational talent. He sings, he does the song and the dance, and he's like amazing. You got Hallie in it. And, I mean, that kid, Nick Basile, that we discovered, I mean, that guy's a rock star. He's dove so hard into this, and he recently got signed, and he's been going at it. And just we have the late Angus as well, and we all dearly love and miss him. But it's like I think he's just such a potent force that he's gonna be remembered for a long time for the the little bit of time that we had with him. So it's really crazy, man. And we got Austin too, who is just on a tear. That guy's got he had a great movie come out with called Wolves recently, and he's got 3 or 4 more just bangers in the docket from what I've talked to him about. So he's gonna have an amazing next few years, and he's really getting to showcase his talent. And so it's just cool to be a fly on the wall for all that, man. Those guys are heavy hitters, and yeah, I mean, it's tricky, like you said, like turning the character off, right? I mean, I pretty much always try to approach this work with, as a method actor, I guess you could say. I try to do method work, right? Sometimes it's more or less. Sometimes I do, sometimes I dive into a character more deeper than others. But this one was 110%. Just balls to the wall. I was living this guy's life essentially for a few months, and yeah, man, there would just be times, it doesn't really hit you on set. It hits you like, this sounds kind of goofy, but it hits you like 2 a.m. at night in your bed, You're alone in your hotel room, and you're, you kind of start to have like a Jacqueline Hyde moment, and you kind of are just, falling apart. And I've got a couple buddies who could tell you that I called them at like 3 or 4 in the morning, just crying my eyes out a few times, because I would snap back to reality and be like, what have I been doing these past couple weeks, and then even coming home, and it took me a while to shake the character out. I came home to a little bit of a welcome party, had some buddies and my wife, and we had a little dinner, and I was just still so in character, and even, just kind of making some out of pocket jokes. And I had like my Southern accent was like in full swing, and they were just like looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like, it's like, like, what the hell happened to you out there, dude? Like, and I just kind of like, fuck, I didn't know it was like, it's like kind of like having something on your face. You're like, oh, I didn't know I had such like, whatever, this like huge, pasta stain in my beer. Like, you should have told me. Like, I was like acting a fool still, but yeah, it's a tricky it's a tricky line to walk, man. You got to be careful. And I've always had that. It's a part of the game. You got to pay to play. If you're gonna go into a role like that, you're gonna have a you're gonna have an up and a down, and that come down, you got to take the time. You got to do it right. Because really, if you aren't careful, it can become problematic, which we've seen happen before in the world of acting, sadly. And it's sometimes just not pretty. So you really gotta be careful with some of this stuff.
Yeah. And it's just, I just find it amazing that, I mean, obviously you've been this, how long was the shoot?
Yeah, it was fast, man. Like 20 days.
20 days.
It's
Oh,
so
okay.
fast. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We was back to back, but
long days, long shoot days.
yeah, definitely long shoot days. Um, just a lot of stuff crammed in. It was
Yeah.
indie, so they were running and gunning. So you would,
Yeah.
on a big shoot, half the day you're sitting around, and on indie shoots, you're shooting all day. So
Right.
it just feels like,
Everybody's working.
yeah, and I love that, man, and I
Yeah.
love that, but it's just a different pace, and so you feel it, you start to feel it. You're like, oh, we're all doing 12, 14-hour days.
Yeah.
Everybody's running around nonstop, and then we would rehearse at night in someone's hotel room, so we would all gather up and rehearse until 2 or 3 hours after wrap, and then we whatever, get 5 hours of sleep and go at it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't blame you for still being the character because obviously, yeah, you're doing these long days and yeah, you got to be on constantly. So it's just like, I can turn it off. Like, but who is Bo? Like, who? I've been this guy, Mitch for weeks, and I don't know. It's like when what's his name, Austin Butler, couldn't drop the Elvis accent. I'm just like, everyone leave him alone. He'll become Austin eventually. Just let him be.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. Yeah, no, it's a real thing, man, because even Wolf was having a tough time
Yeah.
coming out of his accent. I remember I talked to him like 2 or 3 months later, and he still was like halfway in his like accent still, and it's like I've kind of I'm a little bit more lucky with that. I've trained myself to cover my accent up. So I'm purposefully, and then, excuse me if you hang on a second. I guess we got a garbage truck outside or something.
Oh,
But
okay.
I've been training myself to just cover that up for years, because that was when I was a kid, that was a problem.
Yeah.
That was like, being a child actor, it's like you're in a room and you're like, hi, I'm Bo, whatever, you're like a little kid and you have a crazy Southern accent. You're just like, your son just won't touch you with a 10-foot pole. So it's like,
Yeah.
I had to, correct that. So for me, coming out of the Southern accent wasn't as bad. For me, it was more just like the kind of just like the mood swings
Yeah.
and the intensity and stuff. But yeah, no, everybody's got that thing, man. It just sounds so silly, because everyone's like, oh, you're just playing pretend. And it's like, no, this actually happens in real
Right.
life so often. And I mean, we even touch on it in the film, right? In the film, the first scene is pretty much Alex, character's mom, Sherry O'Terry, saying, where'd you get this faux Forrest Gump accent? Because he's basically been in an echo chamber,
Yeah.
for all year. And now he's playing this role to kind of like virtue signal that he's one of these guys. So there's like an Inception thing going on with Alex's character, where he's actually playing a character in the movie as well, essentially, right? Because he's
Yeah.
trying to fit in. So that, people do that all the time. They just don't even notice it. It's just like a
Right.
human nature thing,
Yeah. No. And obviously you have to open yourself up a piece of you to take in that, to receive that, and that's not easy to do. And yeah, some things kind of hang around and stick around until they eventually leave. So yeah, it's more for the people at home who's like, yeah, it's just pretend. It's a little bit more than that. Okay, it's a little bit more involved. Go take an acting class and let's see how well you do. That's all I'm saying. people in.
Yeah, man.
But I'm curious, something I love asking people, and there's never a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious what you have to say about it. Um, to you, what makes a good role?
Man, yeah, that is a great question. I think for me, it's a lot of opportunity for the actor to bring something to the table, and there's a somewhat clear trajectory of a character arc, or at least an opportunity to create one. And there's a cast and crew. There's not only castmates but directors and department heads that are working diligently together with the actor to create the character.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is like very important. And that, I think those are what creates the good roles. The good role can be any part of the movie or any part of the show. It can be a a couple lines. Honestly, you don't even have to have a big role.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with a little bit of time. You can make a huge impact, with a little bit of time and just the right amount of work. And so things like that are important to me in this. And that's personally where I like to find myself with characters is working in an environment where everybody's kind of, you know, essentially a team, and we're working together to create this thing. And I've been kind of blessed to have that opportunity throughout the career I've had. I've had some awesome times doing different things. Like, for instance, like I always think back to my first season at Cobra Kai with John, Josh, and Hayden directing and writing. And they were just, I'm really, honored to say they were just kind of fans of me already from some of my work, and we were able to have a great conversation. I remember going up to them first day I was there. They were on the director chairs. I was like, had script in hand. It was just kind of cliche moment, but I was like, hey guys, I have some ideas. And they were so open, and it was just amazing that they're down to collaborate, and I think that is like a beautiful opportunity. So those are the types of things I seek. I don't think that any person is always right. I think it's just everybody should be allowed to do their jobs, and collaborate. And so, yeah, man, just really, really looking for things like that personally is where I'm at. And those are the opportunities that I essentially think are the best roles.
I love that. I'm right there with you. Like, film is so collaborative. Why be closed off?
Right.
If a PA has a good idea, then first of all, why is he not watching that trailer? But still, also,
Right,
let's listen
yeah.
to him. The PA's got an idea. Let's go. But for the people at home who would like to keep up with you, follow you online, where can they do all that?
Yeah, folks at home and anywhere else in the world or galaxies, whoever's intercepting this, yeah, I'm on Instagram at Bo Ryder Mitchell. I've been dabbling with TikTok finally, and that's Bo Mitchell TV on TikTok. So I keep a pretty low profile. So those are really the main places you can find me. Um, you know, I I just kind of hang out when I'm not working. I hang out at my farm in South Carolina. So I'm a pretty low key guy, but definitely go watch the Line in theaters right now, and then check out the new leg of Cobra Kai coming out soon as well on Netflix.
There we go. And go skating. Go
Yeah.
learn how to skate. It's scary,
Yes.
but you know what? So many fears you'll conquer just skateboarding.
Yeah. You'll learn something. Maybe make a friend.
Yeah. Look, be safe, of course, but bruises are cool too. So
yeah. Wear your pads. Wear your helmet. Go to the skate park, and have some fun.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Yeah. There we go. But Bo, thank you so much for chatting with me again. Like, I'm so glad we were able to get this. And anytime you want to come back, just say the word. All right.
Yeah.
We'll do a skateboard bike sesh. Because I can't skate again. I can only carpeted board. But yeah, biking. I can try and get the bike together.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, put the bike back together. Yeah, I did a little carpet biking, so we can kind of trade.
There we go. There we go. But I'll let you go. You have a wonderful rest of your day and keep staying safe and healthy. All right.
Yeah, thanks. You too, man. Good times. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.